Hey everybody, check it out. What's up? It's Heracles Porsche's professional intro. Yay!
What's up, everybody? It's Heracles Porsche here, and on today's video, we're going to be talking a bit more about what we can expect from EVE Vanguard. I think one of the biggest concerns fans have had is that EVE Vanguard is going to be limited to an extraction shooter. I personally feel that EVE Vanguard is going to have a lot more going for it than that. What I'm expecting to see is objectives that aren't tied into the extraction elements as thoroughly as what we saw during the FanFest footage. So we're going to be accomplishing objectives that influence the EVE universe's new corruption system, and then it'll have those impacts regardless of whether or not our clone bodies make it off the planet intact. Another detail I'm pleased to share is that we can look forward to new soundtracks being developed for EVE Vanguard. One of my favorite aspects of playing any new game is discovering that new music is crafted specifically for that game. There was a mention at EVE FanFest of a dark electronic music being produced for EVE Vanguard, which is personally right up my alley, so I really can't wait to hear the new tracks being produced for this game. Another thing that's going to set EVE Vanguard apart is not just a tie-in with the EVE, but the inspiration that it's drawing from it. Similar to an EVE, there will be aspects of the environment beyond just shooting and looting bodies, things like mining and exploration, and most importantly, player progression systems that reflect these aspects of EVE Vanguard that we're trying to improve at, rather than just, say, a hard class system. Another EVE tie-in that was actually speculated on by one of my commenters in my previous video was a link to EVE Online's planetary interaction system. So for anyone who doesn't know, planetary interaction is a system where players can set up bases on planets to harvest resources and then return at set intervals, ideally from maybe 2 days to a week later, to gather the resources they collected. Now, these are bases you set up with their factories, storage houses, harvesters, launch pads, etc. None of these can be harmed or interacted with by other players in any way, and the only thing that can interfere with your resource collection is if another player tries to gank you while you go to the player-owned corporate office, or POCO for short. These, of course, are facilities above the planet. Uh, of course, camping a POCO all day is not a good use of anybody's time, so having a PI interference system on the informal roadmap is something Vanguard clones will be able to influence, could really make the phrase, your next shot could topple an empire, take shape. Now, for some of the stuff I know the Dust Vets will want to hear, CCP Rattati did specifically say he wants to honor the emails that were set during Nova development with regard to getting our Dust 514 names back. This might not be available at launch, but it's really good to know that it's on the devs' minds. Also, on the same note, I've been getting a lot of questions and comments regarding vehicles and orbitals, and as you can probably guess, we also won't have those at launch, but we could see those getting added to the game later, particularly the orbitals, which were understood to be a favorite feature of both Dust and EVE players. Finally, I want to talk about possibly both the most important and most reliable piece of information we have about EVE Vanguard, what you're going to need to pay to play the game. And it's Omega, folks. So for anyone who isn't familiar with EVE Online subscription system, there's essentially two tiers, the free-to-play tier called Alpha and the pay-to-play tier called Omega. New players can play and explore many aspects of EVE, especially the combat aspects, for free, but after they've hit 5 million skill points, they need to start paying for Omega to keep improving their main character. Paying for Omega also doubles your skill point gain and grants you other perks as well. So, getting to play EVE Vanguard will be included with this Omega subscription. Of course, there's nothing that requires you to play EVE in order to play Vanguard, but since we're out a couple months out from Vanguard's launch, it might be an interesting time to play EVE for free, just to see everything you'd be getting with your Omega subscription. EVE Online players, of course, will also understand that traditionally we've been able to have up to 3 characters in the EVE universe. With the launch of EVE Vanguard, this will now mean our 4th character that we can have in the EVE universe on one account. Now, as for all the information I've passed out to you guys today, I want to explain to you that this is all stuff that was discussed at EVE FanFest. So in terms of how official it is, we'll put it somewhere as less official than a news bulletin or maybe even a roadmap. But I did wait until I could bring you guys something that I felt was a bit more substantial than random fan speculation. Now I want to throw some quick shoutouts to Denny Fleetfoot and CCP Shortfall and the other devs for helping me get this information, even if it's in a pre-confirmed, pre-alpha state. And just so you know, Heracles Porsche aims to be your #1 source for all news related to EVE Vanguard, so please don't be shy about hitting subscribe, the alert button, maybe even that like button if you're feeling frisky. Don't forget to check out the Dust514 Discord and the EVE Vanguard mailing list if you're not already on there.
And until next time, everybody, I shall see you Starside.